o'clock, we will call to order the July 11th meeting of the Common Council. Ms. Wiles, will you lead us in the pledge?
Happy to do so. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Lees, will you call the roll?
Mr. Ayr,
Present.
Mr. Boyce,
Present.
Mr. Davis,
Present.
Mr. O'Connor,
Here.
Mr. Peterson,
Present.
Mr. Schwartz, Mr. Sparks,
Present.
Ms. Wiles,
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Present.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of the executive session memorandum from our June 27th meeting.
Move to approve.
Second. There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes from our executive session memorandum. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Approval of the minutes from our June 27th meeting.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve our minutes from our June 27th meeting. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Petitions or comments from citizens who are present? I have one.
Sorry, Mr. President, real quick, can I move to approve the agenda?
Oh, yep. I was going too fast.
I'll
Second.
second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Thanks for catching me.
What I'm here for.
Yeah. Petitions or comments from citizens who are present? I have one, which I'll call you up in a second, but if anybody else that is here that would like to speak, there are slips of paper right out there that you can fill out, and you can hand them to Ms. Lees, and we will call you up when your item is up for discussion. But Mr. Risto, is that how you pronounce your name? If you just want to come up to the podium, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. And if you would like to just give your name and address for the record, that would be great.
Name is Paul Risto. Address is 11857 Crossbill Court.
Thank you.
And I'm here about the situation along 166th Street from Summer Road all the way down to Cumberland, and also extending between 166th Street and Greenfield Avenue on Union Chapel Road. There's brush growing from the properties into the roadway. Now, I have come in here and I just went around and found the mayor's office, and I talked to his secretary, and she said she would contact the appropriate people, and that was maybe 10 days, 2 weeks ago now. And that first day, I did hear back from the city department. I talked to a couple women, and they just seemed to be like, well, what are you complaining about?
Was it the street department?
Street
you talk to?
department. Because he said, then this guy called me, he says, oh, don't worry about it, we're gonna take care of it for you. But, after looking things over and thinking about it, I mean, it's a substantial job to cut back that brush, say, 3 feet for a length. You're gonna have some kind of equipment to cut it, dump trucks to haul that brush away. We're talking about a major project in quite an extensive area. So I don't know why it got so bad. I've been around in different areas of town, and I don't see this going on anywhere, but this stuff is growing uncontrolled.
166 from Union Chapel to Bowdoin?
No.
No?
Union Chapel from 166th Street
Union Chapel south?
south to Greenfield.
Greenfield?
There's, on the west side, there's farmland, empty land there. And the tree line that grows along the road, that's growing into the street. Same thing with the golf course. Tree line, it's an old tree line, and now it's gotten to the point where it's all growing into the street. According to this ordinance, 93-1, public nuisance, a thing, act, condition, or use of property, well, it's continue for such a length of time as to substantially annoy, injure, endanger comfort, health, repose, or safety of the public. Now, when you got stuff growing that close to the road, any animal can suddenly jump out. I know this stuff is pretty rare, but I mean, being a good citizen, these people should be cutting back that brush. It brushes up against the side of my vehicle, and it's worse when it like rains out or spring and fall, it's growing into my road, and hit
Probably
my
from
vehicle.
Golden Bear to Greenfield is where you're talking about, right, on the west side?
He's talking about from Summer all the way to Cumberland Road.
On 166th Street.
166,
Plus Union Chapel. Plus now if you go down, I go down Promise Road a lot, and then you go from 146th Street to 141st Street, and that's starting to grow into the road. There's a few spots where it'll hit my rearview mirror when I go through there. But it's also on that spot, you got this is in the ordinances, where it shows trees have to be a minimum of 12 feet above the roadway. And we got all this brush and trees growing in the roadway, obviously it's not 12 feet above the roadway.
Sir, you're at your limit. If you'd like to leave those, we can pass those along too. If there's a city department head that we can connect you with,
So-
we're happy to do that as well.
I'll tell you, I've dealt with things in the past, not very a lot, but I mean, people tell you stuff, yeah, we're gonna do something about it, I don't know if they're doing anything about it. The mayor's secretary did say she'll notify the city attorney, she called him the ordinance guy. I don't know if that's the city attorney. But
Code
that
enforcement.
person has never contacted me about this I found out. It's not easy to find this information out. I don't know if you keep it somewhere here in City Hall.
It's on the website.
ordinance. Pardon, you do?
It's on the website. The
On
website,
the website?
yep.
I had to go to a different website. I didn't find it on the city website. Any rate,
Yep.
I think something should be done about that. I think you should really define the ordinance more for a situation like this. Otherwise, people just let it grow on the road. Obviously, that's not right.
Thanks for coming in to speak.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the info.
Good thing, yeah.
Moving on to council committee reports. Roads is up first. Mr. Boyce?
Thank you very much. The Roads Committee met on July 7th. Myself, Mr. O'Connor, and Mr. Peterson were president. Mr. Ayer arrived late, as he has a few times, but this time he did have a very good excuse. He was meeting with Ken Nunn about his legal proceedings against the city of Noblesville. So, but anyway, during the meeting, then just some of the most important things. We talked about Allisonville and 146, just so everyone knows that looks like it's on schedule and still going with the lane closures. Talked a lot about Pleasant Street. Everything is moving forward there and looking good. The closures on 8th Street are ongoing, and we've heard very little remonstrance from it, and it seems like it's going well. So everything looks good there. Great news, the River Road roundabout at River Road and State Road 32 will be open hopefully July 28th, but definitely July 31st before school starts. We think that's going to really help a lot of the traffic over there if we can get 2 lanes going between both roundabouts over there. So that's going to be a very good thing for all of us, I think, traffic-wise in the city. And last thing is we're still, for Mr. Davis's knowledge, we are still working on solutions for the shocking issues on the Kerrigan Road Bridge, and we did have some people from Florida fly up, and they got shocked while they were here. So we are still working on it. We're going to put some signs up warning people that it can shock them, and hope for the best and get some stuff changed as soon as we have some answers from the manufacturer. That's all I have for.
Any questions for Mr. Boyce?
I did want to comment, I've noticed that as you travel around town, and it is construction season all over the state, but Hamilton County, all the communities do a great job of updating daily, almost hourly, the detours. I noticed that one went up in Westfield on Saturday, and they had it up that same time, so if you're frustrated, just check your phone, and it'll give you a detour, and they've mapped this out. It takes no less time if you know it's coming.
Any other questions for Mr. Boyce? Moving on to finance, Mr. O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met July 6th. These items are on our agenda this evening. I'll comment briefly. The tax abatement compliance confirmation. Mrs. Smith went through a very well-detailed report on all of our tax abatements, which continue to support additional, it says valuation growth in the city. There is one item on the agenda, miscellaneous number 2, with respect to one abatement that got reporting done past the deadline, but otherwise, I think things are in good shape there. And then you've got the appropriation transfers for the second quarter, which were the routine transfers. That's also on the agenda, along with, I believe, grant proceeds that are appropriated as well. So we'll hear about that here in a few minutes. Mr. Spalding provided us with a debt summary for the city, which was very well done. It consolidated a lot of data. We have reams and reams of data with respect to the overall debt that we have in a variety of different categories, but the summary was very well done, and suffice to say, we're in really good shape from a debt perspective, but we're working on getting a report that I think we can make available. We certainly have the data now if people want to see it, but trying to consolidate and make that a little more user-friendly for everybody concerned. So the claims come to you with a favorable recommendation, and that was a quick recap of the meeting.
Any questions for Mr. O'Connor?
Mr. President, I would move that we approve the claims.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the claims. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Previously discussed ordinances. Council to consider ordinance number 16-06-23, an ordinance annexing approximately 31 acres west of Cicero Road and north of Forest Park in the 1300 block of Cicero Road, known as Comstock Estates in Noblesville Township, and resolution RC-28-23, adopting a fiscal plan. Ms. Yellen.
Good evening. This, again, is a super voluntary annexation for approximately 31 acres. Action by the council tonight will include the public hearing for the actual ordinance, and there should be a vote taken on the resolution for the fiscal plan. And then I will come back in 2 weeks for the final vote on the actual ordinance. The public hearing was advertised for tonight's meeting. The property is currently zoned residential. They have subdivided it into 5 residential lots, and sometime in the near future, there will be 1 residential structure at least constructed on one of those lots. As you are well aware, immediately upon annexation, all non-capital services such as police, trash pickup, recycling, fire, governmental administrative services are provided, and then capital services are provided, and this case will be provided by the developer. Upon annexation, this will become a part of Councilmanic District 4. With that, I will ask if you have any questions on the annexation as far as the fiscal analysis or the ordinance itself.
Any questions for Ms. Yelton? Not, I will go ahead and open the public hearing for ordinance number 16-06-23.
Mr. President,
Mr. O'Connor?
seeing no one from the public coming forward, I would move that we close the public hearing for ordinance 16-06-23.
Second?
There's a motion and a second to close the public hearing for ordinance number 16-06-23. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0.
Mr. President,
Ms. Wiles?
I would motion that we approve resolution RC-28-23, adopting a fiscal plan as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution RC-28-23. This is also a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Miscellaneous number 1, council to consider resolution RC-31-23, a resolution concerning a tax abatement compliance.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This resolution is for the approval of the annual compliance forms for real and personal property tax abatements. Each year, businesses with an active tax abatement are required to submit a CF1 compliance form to both the city and Hamilton County. These compliance forms are reviewed for compliance and presented to you all. A few items to highlight. Overall, there are 27 active tax abatements, 19 for real property and 8 for personal. Of the 27, 4 of those will end at the end of this year, so 23 pay 24. 2 are real property and 2 are personal property. Overall, the concluding recommendation as written in the resolution is that we have compliance with all outstanding abatement recipients. You will also recall there is a requirement for certain abatement recipients to demonstrate to the city their engagement in the community as a community partner. This can include financial contributions, volunteering, participating in social, cultural, and civic events. There are 5 active abatements that have this requirement. Some of the activities the recipients have participated in over the past year include working to establish an internship program with Ivy Tech, donating to local animal shelters and food pantries, donating time to Third Phase to help organize and sort clothing for their thrift store, working with Noblesville High School on a variety of things, including hosting interns throughout the school year, participating on advisory boards for Project Lead the Way, and participating in the STEM Today and Tomorrow Club. We continue to look forward in the future to how these businesses interact with the community, and we'll continue to report that to you. As Mr. O'Connor said, this was presented to Finance and did receive a favorable recommendation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Peterson?
I appreciate that you've added the community involvement component to the new ones. I really appreciate that, and that you were reporting it back. I also appreciate that you cleaned up the decimal point issue from the Finance Committee meeting. Mr. Davis about had another heart attack. And it was,
Sorry about that. It was a formula error.
thank you. I appreciate you cleaning that up. And I know it's a lot of work, and one decimal point is forgivable. Thank you.
Can you pot?
Any questions for Ms. Smith? No, I just need a motion.
Mr. President, I move we approve resolution RC 31-23 as presented.
Second?
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution RC-31-23. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miscellaneous number 2, council to consider resolution RC-34-23, a resolution confirming approval of a waiver of noncompliance concerning a real property tax abatement for 14515 Bergen Boulevard, LLC. Ms. Smith.
At your last meeting, you did approve a preliminary resolution waiving the noncompliance for 14515 Bergen Boulevard, LLC. They are in their second year of a real property tax abatement, and due to an administrative oversight, did not return the completed form by the due date. They have asked for the waiver to reinstate the abatement for 2023, pay 24, and have submitted the completed compliance form and paid the processing and document preparation fee. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Ms. Smith?
Mr. President, I move we approve resolution RC-34.
Well, we
Whoa.
have to do a
Excuse me.
public
Public
hearing first.
hearing. Oh, sorry.
Since there are no questions for Ms. Smith, I will go ahead and open the public hearing for resolution RC-34-23.
Mr. President,
Ms. Wiles?
seeing no one come forward, I would move that we close the public hearing for resolution RC-34-23.
Second?
There's a motion and a second to close the public hearing for resolution RC-34-23. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Now you can go.
Mr. President,
Mr. O'Connor.
I move to approve resolution RC-34-23 as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution RC-34-23. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miscellaneous number 3, council to receive a summary of fiscally neutral second quarter appropriation transfers pursuant to resolution RC-1-23.
Mr. President, I just wanted to comment that on these next 2 items, the actual ordinance says that they need to report these, and we went through them, we scrutinized them, although there were none on the first one, but we scrutinized this, and we do this every year in the Finance Committee, or every quarter in the Finance Committee. And this time, we sort of decided to just, they've been presented. If anyone has any questions about anyone specific, we'll go back to the Finance Committee, but we feel like it's been presented, so there's nothing to vote on, but if anybody has any questions, I guess we can go through them, the specific item.
Great. So then do I need to say anything about number 4, or are we?
You gotta read it.
Yeah. All right. Miscellaneous number 4, council to receive a summary of appropriation of second quarter grant proceeds pursuant to resolution RC-2-23.
This is the same thing. We received several grants that they came in from the right place, they went into the right place, they're being used for the right project, and it's just part of our ordinance to report on them, and that was done in the Finance Committee.
And also, those are linked on the agenda online if anybody wants to reference what those transfers and grant proceeds look like. But yeah, that's great. Council comments.
Mr. President,
Ms. Wiles.
we are in the month of July, and this is the year of Noblesville and Hamilton County's bicentennial. So there are lots of activities that are going on throughout Noblesville and Hamilton County, but Noblesville especially in this month. If you go to the city's website, there is a spot just on the right-hand side where bicentennial logo is there. If you click on that and scroll down, you'll see a calendar of events. There's a full list. I'm not going to read them all off to you, but the county has also put together this guide that has a listing of all of the events that they knew of at the time of printing. I do want to call out that on July 22nd will be the Noblesville Street Dance, but also in partnership with the county, they're going to do political celebrities and the vote ice cream social. So that will be the first part of the day, and then later in the day, the street dance will take on. So it will be really a community-wide celebration on Saturday, July 22nd. So we've got some great activities. We've got great groups in the city of Noblesville that do tremendous work and put on tremendous events throughout the year. And so they have been trying to incorporate bicentennial themes to those various events. And so we're having a great time celebrating not only the city, but the county's bicentennial this year.
Thank you.
You heard it straight from the bicentennial queen herself.
No, committee co-chair.
Committee co-chair, sure.
Thank you very much.
I like Queen better.
Yeah, right. Mr. Ayer.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate the mayor's office, administration, police, fire, parks, all of our city entities on a fantastic 4th of July parade, festivities, and all the work that it took for them to put that together. It was a really well-attended event this year.
Any other comments? Mr. Mayor?
Thank you for that, Mr. Ayer. I just thought I'd just go on the record and share the gentleman to my left here is filling in for our city attorney, John Hughes, is a gentleman named Alex Intermill. And the reason I point him out is not only is he a great attorney helping us out tonight, but he was my student teacher in Mrs. Ball's Spanish class at Noblesville High School back in about 2000, after a stint in the Peace Corps. So he actually has a great tie to Noblesville, was a student teacher at Noblesville High School, and then my mother hired him at Westfield High School to be a Spanish teacher there before he went on to be a great attorney. So I just think it's a really neat story. Awesome to have him here tonight. He calls me Pedro because that was my Spanish name in high school. And, but Alex, thanks for joining us tonight at Noblesville.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
That's right.
Gracias, Pedro.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree.
This is gonna go off the rails really quick. Any other comments? Okay, we are adjourned.
Gracias.